Conferência de imprensa com Mitchel Krueger, lembrado para a final do Oeiras Open 5. Mitchel, congratulations. You said on court it was maybe the best performance of the week. Why was that?
Yeah, I think just from beginning to end, it was definitely probably the most complete. You know, I had maybe one hiccup game where I got broken kind of late in the first set. But other than that, you know, I was on top of him basically from the jump, and yeah, I don't know. I just started playing really well at the beginning. Came out kind of firing early, and just was able to get on top of him early, and was able to keep the momentum going. Actually, both sets were about the same type of scenario. So it's always nice being on that end of the sets where you're in control and trying to close them out. But yeah, I think it was just I didn't feel like I did a lot poorly today. There was some things I feel like I could have done maybe a little better, but top to bottom, I can't really be too picky with that performance.
Before the match, I think he only lost one time his serve in 3 wins. But today he broke him 4 times in 4 opportunities. Why was that? Do you think you read his serve, or what was the reason for that?
No, I didn't know that stat going into it, so it's probably better off I didn't know that. I think there was just a couple games that maybe his first serve percentage dropped and gave me some looks on the second serve, and I think I was just so solid from the baseline today that once I was able to kind of get the return kind of neutralized, that I felt like I was winning a lot of those points. So I think that also, like I said, starting the sets really strongly, I feel like I'm gonna put some pressure on him to maybe try to do a little more than maybe he thought he needed to. And yeah, I don't know. I think I've been returning pretty well in all of my matches here so far, and I think today was very similar for whatever reason. I was on a lot of the returns. He still had a few games where he hit a lot of good serves and I didn't get a lot of looks, but I thought I did a good job of the games where I did kind of get my teeth into it. I did a good job of capitalizing on those games and breaking when I needed to. Like you said, 4 for 4 for break points is can't be asked for much more.
It was very hot, very dry. You definitely look like a clay court now.
Yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, like I think these conditions this week have suited me really well. Like you said, sunny, hot, dry. They water the court before each set, but it doesn't last that long. So I think that's definitely plays into my game a little bit of being able to serve well and attack well and really kind of be aggressive. I think it suits that. So I think I think it's definitely the kind of clay court conditions that I prefer compared to slow, wet, rainy, cold. That's obviously a lot tougher to deal with.
It's been a while since you last played a challenger final, 1 year actually. So how does it feel to be back?
Yeah, it's great. First clay challenger final since a little over a year ago. Obviously that was on green clay in the US, so similar but not quite the same. And I think finals don't come around too often, so it's always a treat to be able to play in the final, and hopefully I get one more good match going, and like I said yesterday, continuing the momentum on to Paris. I don't want to get too ahead of myself. I want to focus on tomorrow, but I think it's definitely, win or lose, there's a lot of positives to take from this week.
We didn't know who's going to be your opponent, but one thing is for sure, he's going to be a clay specialist. Argentinian guy, a Chilean guy. What do you expect from both of them? What can you tell us about
them? I mean, it's definitely not going to be easy. Very few finals are, I think, straightforward, so it's always smart to expect a tough battle. I mean, I know going into it, whoever I play is going to be the more comfortable player on the clay, generally speaking, but I'm still confident in my game on the clay, and obviously with these conditions also suiting me pretty well, I think, and beating a couple good clay quarters so far this week. Obviously my first round was a good test, I think, for me, and I think think my confidence is high to hopefully be able to take it to whoever I have playing.
And maybe you have to beat them, whoever he is, but beat them like playing aggressive, coming to the net, maybe playing hardcore tennis on play.
Yeah, I mean, look, every day is different, so you kind of have to take what you got that day and do the most with it. But I think that's definitely been working for me so far this week. So it's definitely my goal to try to enforce that as much as I can.
It's quite early still. Do you have any plans for the rest of the day? Maybe sightseeing a bit, or?
I mean, we've gone a couple times so far this week into Sintra for dinner and to Kashkesh one night, but I think probably tonight, I think it's going to be a little bit more of an early morning tomorrow with an earlier start, so I think I'll probably stick to my routine the last couple days. It'll be a little superstitious and probably stay around the hotel, but luckily we got here. We've been here since Thursday before the tournament, so we had enough time kind of on the front end of the tournament to do some sightseeing and kind of venture out a little bit. So probably not tonight, but I don't know. It is nice to be done earlier in the day for sure.
In terms of tennis, what do you like to do? Do you watch a bit of this match live, later on the computer? You forget about it?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch a little bit, while they're playing. It's nice that I'm done while they're playing, so it's, we're not playing at the same time, but that's the good thing of these days, being able to, on demand, pull up any match you want, But I think I always prefer to watch it in person if I can, a little bit, but, I think, I don't know these guys extremely well, but I feel like I know, enough to generally know what to expect, and hopefully they play a 3-hour plus long 3-setter and be a little tired for tomorrow, but I'm definitely enjoying being done quickly.
But are you one of those guys that's going to spend dinner time thinking about the match, or when it's dinner time you just stop?
Yeah, I mean, I think
enjoy it?
I think I typically do a pretty good job of not overthinking it the night before. Especially in this case, it'd be 2 guys. I don't think I've played either of them before, so I've practiced with Guerin a couple times, but never actually played. So a little bit of some unknowns there. So it almost can be a positive to kind of go into it fresh without any kind of past history. But yeah, I think obviously I want to enjoy the moment from today, being in the final, and then hopefully sleep well and then wake up ready to go tomorrow.
So about the week and a half in Portugal, do you have any special dessert or dish coming up, maybe to celebrate the title or something?
I mean, it's a good. I should ask you guys what's like the
we have something
popular things in Portugal, but yeah, I mean, I'm not super adventurous with food, but I try to as best I can. When I'm in places that are different that I don't go to very often, that I try to experience what they do well, like what their big things are. So I think I've done a pretty decent job of that. But hopefully, tomorrow after the match, it's something big to celebrate, and get one more win.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.